Good morning. It is Millennials and Money. We're millennials. We like to make money. This is Chris Sender. I'm Kelsey McDaniel.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Did you have a good weekend?
It was all right.
Good. So, one thing that I get accused of often is RBF.
What does that mean?
It means...
I think you should explain to the viewers.
I don't know. I
resting
feel like
bitch face.
Resting bitch face. That's what it is. So I get that a lot. And it's something that I need to improve on because when you smile, you make other people more comfortable, right?
Absolutely. So
body language. So talk about that. Talk about the importance of smiling in your career and specifically in sales too.
So I was of the mindset that I was not a smiler. I thought it was kind of not manly, uncomfortable. Why am I smiling at everybody? But I want to tie this all in. But before I was in sales, I was a server for like 10 different restaurants. I bounced around. I was a server. I was always looking for the next best thing. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to do the best I could for where I was at any given time. And I think that's extremely important. So you can't be a top performing salesperson, or you can't be an executive or whatever you want, whatever your end game goal is, marketing manager, whatever that may be. You can't be it right now if you're not that. Mm-hmm. So what my thought was to just do as best as I possibly could. So I went from a not so nice restaurant to a nicer restaurant to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was a server there. So What I learned there was they have extremely strict corporate guidelines and almost to a militant type, like a militaristic type of setup where everybody's got to stand. It was weird, but they made you smile. So that's one thing. I was not a smiler, so they would literally.
What would happen if you didn't smile?
You'd get written up. Eventually. So
and how many write-ups did you get for not smiling before?
I didn't get any because I corrected it quickly enough, but they would come up to me.
You're smiling right now. Look it.
I know. It's like built into me now. It's like they're pointing a gun to my head. Smile. That's always what it felt like. But so it was really unnatural for me to do because I never ever smiled. I think you just kind of look like I think I look like a doofus when I smile because I have like this big old grin.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I started doing it because I had to. And what I noticed is that when I go up to the tables, now they're smiling right back. So It's just a lot easier when you start with a smile. Doesn't matter who you're meeting. If you're going to an interview and you're smiling, they're going to smile back and everybody's going to be a lot more comfortable. Right. Sales, interviews, anything. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're smiling, people are going to be more opened up to you and they're going to be more receptive to what you have to say. Mm-hmm. And they're going to like you, trust you.
There's actually a really cool TED Talk that you can look up. It's by Mark Bowden, and he talks about, specifically, he does talk about smiling, but he also talks about other people's perception of you and how to get them to like you. Because over time, as we evolved, when the land mammals decided I'm going to stand up, and obviously it took millions of years, but hundreds of thousands of years, but we exposed our most vital organs as we stood up. And so he talks about the importance of showing your hands and not even in the frame, but showing your hands and smiling. And well, not like this, not like I'm coming at you, but basically this is the universal signal of I have no tools, I have no weapons. You make yourself vulnerable to the other person, and
get your hands out of your pockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And he does talk specifically about smiling, and it makes me laugh the way that he does it because you can't just flash a smile like that. That's awkward and it's weird.
No, it's not.
And you can't do a half smile where you don't you open your mouth but you don't kind of narrow your eyes as well.
You gotta commit.
It's really cool.
You gotta
but
commit
there's
to a full smile.
Smiling actually does trigger instincts within other people, and it's a good way to get other people to feel comfortable with you. And it's been proven that smiling increases your mood even if you're not feeling it. If you smile,
I've read that when you smile you're happy.
Exactly. So you had another great piece of advice other than just being, what did you call yourself, a doofus and smiling?
Oh yeah, a huge doofus.
You told me this morning to give before and get later. Can you talk about why that's important?
So first, I'm going to say that I don't think, when we talk about millennials on this show, I don't think there's any difference between the generations. They're just young people.
I agree with that.
I think young people are just,
absolutely.
This is, you're going to get, it's the same thing that we just have different technology now. So everybody's like, oh, the millennials are brought up on cell phones and everything. But
it's been every single generation. Yeah. The older generation always thinks the younger one is so entitled. And, you know, it's like that old saying, like when I was younger, we had to walk uphill to school in the snow, like both ways. Like every single generation looks down at the other generation like, oh, they don't even know how hard they have it. But
yeah. And nothing's going to change. The only thing that changes really is the outside stuff. So technology changes.
The environment, right.
The economy is different. So, you know, there's all these studies about
it, so.
Yeah, so there's like exactly. That's totally a millennial way to think.
I know, I'm totally
it's all
kidding.
The
That was a
other
joke.
generation's faults, obviously.
Okay, so talk about give before, get later. What does that mean for me?
So for anybody really, especially somebody that is new to business, a new professional, young professional, and they have goals to make all this money and be in this great position of power, and they go to a job and they're at the bottom of the barrel and they think that they're better than what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they're there. They have the potential to be better, but if they're not doing the best at what they are right now, how is anybody going to know what their true potential is?
Right.
And how is anybody going to be able to take what they think they can do or what they say they can do and say, oh, okay, well you should be a manager, you should be an executive. Mm-hmm. So if they're you know, mailing it in because they don't think that they think they're above whatever they're doing, then you're not gonna get any reception, and people aren't gonna, and you're not gonna learn anything either, because you're not gonna discipline yourself. You're not gonna know what it truly takes to be great.
Right. So
you should be great even if you're at the bottom entry level position. Do your best, and you will grow. You will go through the company very quickly because people are looking for that, and there's not a lot of it out there.
So you're saying don't expect a commensurate pay for your efforts?
Not yet.
But I think that's one thing that is difficult maybe for our generation, because it has been shown that we tend to jump around from job to job more frequently than the previous generations. But you're not going to be able to, like, I mean, hit that level of achievement if you keep starting from the bottom of the totem pole every 2 years.
You might increase your pay by 10%.
A little bit, yeah, but you're not going to reach.
You're not going to truly grow.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
I think that a lot of that is because it's so easy to find a job nowadays. All you have to do is go on LinkedIn or whatever medium, Indeed, and there's thousands of jobs. All you have to do is click a button and the computer does the rest for you.
Yeah.
Your resume is all updated and bada bing, bada boom, you have 1,000, I don't know how to do it anymore. I haven't searched for a job for a long time.
Well, that's good to know that you're not looking.
Yeah, not yet.
That'd be a little awkward.
Just kidding.
For me right now. So don't put your eggs all in one basket. What do you mean by that? We talked about it this morning.
Yeah, so
it went a little over my head, so explain that.
So a lot of young people, including me, including my wife, a lot of people I know, they have like this idea of what they have to do, and that's it. They have to work at this one firm, they have to work at this one company, otherwise they don't consider themselves successful, or they have to have this one job role. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't put all your eggs in this one basket. You should diversify and see what hits. So if you're searching for a job, let's say, and I'm sure a lot of people are, rather than going to 2 or 3, I don't know how many people, I don't know what the average person is searching for a job, but I have to make thousands of cold calls before I get a new account, and it's a pain in the ass. So if you go around and you go put your application in at every qualified position you can find, 50, 100, I don't know how many you can find. If you do that, you'll notice that you get a lot more job offers and you get a lot more interviews. And what happens when you get more interviews, you can leverage competition. And once somebody offers you a job, then now all of a sudden you're somebody that's in demand. This happened to me before I got hired at Wooditch. And basically, I was offered a position at 3 different jobs, but I was holding out for the Wooditch company because it seemed like the best fit. I wanted the mentorship, and Bill basically sold me on the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I did, because this place has actually turned out to be okay. But
he's gonna see this.
It's great. It's great. That's why I'm here. But so what I did was, and I didn't realize this. I learned because I was just, by doing, I guess I just kind of fell into it. But I got offers, and I went back, and I was very respectful to the people that had offered me the job, and I said, I apologize. I really appreciate your time. And I had another interview with the CEO. It was kind of like the final step in this other like technology company.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry to the HR person that, I have another job offer that I'm going to take, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you. I just didn't want the CEO to block out that time.
Yeah.
So she's like, whoa, wait. Like, let me have the sales manager call you. And so he calls me back like 5 minutes later, and he said, well, what did they offer you? I said, oh, they offered me this for my salary. And so they're like, what if I offered you this and gave you 2 people under your team? And I was like,
wow.
Oh, I was like, that's nice, but, I looked at it, I entertained the offer, but at the end of the day, I thought that this would ultimately, even though the benefits in the front end were better than Wooditch, I thought ultimately Wooditch would be a better investment for me.
Well, and that takes a certain level of bandwidth to not just be like, oh, well, I'm going to get more money and like I'm going to start at this level of status, but to actually look at where it's going to take you in the long run. I don't think some people don't think that way. So you're actually playing it ahead, which is really, really good, and obviously why you're successful today. But when you told me don't put all your eggs in one basket, I kind of thought of something else, and it was more like
Easter eggs?
Yeah, because I'm that stupid. No. And that's talking about, or I was thinking about like your income. There's a lot of side projects that me and my friends work on that actually like bring us income on the side. So I thought, like, is that something that you recommend, or like do you?
I'm just not very good at it yet. I'm looking for ways to
I'll get you in on some of our projects.
I'm looking for side hustles.
How about that? Yeah.
Give me a call if you have an idea.
Yeah, one of my friends just started this new idea, and it happened because she thought creatively. There was an issue at her work, and she kind of duct taped the problem and just said like, okay, well, we're going to do this just to fix it for right now. But then as she went home, she like thought about it, and she thought of a different way that she could have solved that, but it can work. It can translate into like any different company, and it has to do with like IT departments. And so she is good friends with an engineer now, like they're working together, and I'm kind of like helping them out with some of like the copy and stuff. But it's because she had the ability to think creatively in her role that she like had this this like new business idea. And I was kind of talking to you a little bit about creative thinking this morning, and one thing that I thought was really cool, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna share it really quick. Because I never thought about it like this way. Because when I think creativity, like I think of artists and painters and like graphic designers and people who like art is their career. But everyone is an artist, especially an entrepreneur. And if you're trying to be successful, like you have to be the entrepreneur of your life. But one thing about creativity that I had never considered is it's not really all about freedom. When I think of creativity, I think of like the freedom to be creative and just open and inspired. But one thing that's really important in creativity that I didn't acknowledge until today is that you need to set limitations too, because you're laughing, but
you can't go too far out the box.
You can't. But okay, so I thought this was really cool. The founder of Amazon said one of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. And so if you have like rules and constraints and limitations, it forces you to think creatively. And some cool things can come from that. And so when you are first forced to think creatively and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, who knows? Maybe you're going to come up with a side project and launch a company like my friend, Summer.
Summer
Finn.
That's good.
Yep. So
well, you can definitely, you have to be somewhat creative in any endeavor because you have to figure out what's actually going on in your neck of the woods and come up with a response or a plan, because one person's life is going to be completely different, or role is going to be completely different than anything else that's out there.
Right.
So
okay, let's bring it back to you, because I just went off on a tangent. You can't be a good leader without being a good follower.
Yes.
And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, so explain. Okay. Defend your statement.
I will defend it. I don't think you can truly understand how you can lead people if you can't follow, because in any given company or in any given position or role, there's going to be somebody that is more important than you, whether you're the CEO or an executive or account executive, sales guy. There's always going to be somebody that you're kind of taking orders from, whether that's inside the company or outside. So if you can't follow the orders, how can you direct people to do it? If you don't understand what it takes to be part of a team, how can you really direct and lead a team? That's how I feel about it.
Okay, I didn't know that that's where you were going to go with it, so I guess I agree with that, because you need the discipline in order to be a good leader. So
if you don't know how to follow, how can you effectively lead a group? Because you can't do it yourself. You know what I mean?
You're saying that if you don't know how to follow,
if you don't know how to follow directions or be part of a cohesive team, then how can you give those directions and group a unit together?
All right.
I guess unless you
win this round, Chris Zender.
You have like a company, you start at 16 and it becomes Facebook, then nobody gives a crap anyways.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have millions of dollars, billions of dollars.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So you can't be a leader without being a good follower.
You missed one. You missed a bullet.
I missed one.
Yes.
Okay, no matter who you're talking to, put the value out first.
Your value, yeah.
Yeah, this is the tip for the day, courtesy of Mr. Zender.
Don't go asking for stuff unless you have something to offer first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially,
we talked about that before, too.
Yeah.
Because they have to know that you're competent before they care about your confidence.
Well, even more than that, if there's some kind of deal or you're soliciting for some purpose, some business purpose, you have a reason for it. If you go in and you ask somebody for their time or for this or for that, or you have questions, then you better offer something up front, even if it's a compliment.
A compliment. It's as easy as that.
I mean, yes. So if I'm trying to ask for advice from somebody, I'll pay them a compliment first. I'll say like, you're really good at this type of thing, and I have a question about it. Do you mind if I take a second?
I'm learning so much about our previous conversation.
And then they're like, oh, I didn't know that you thought, you're so nice.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that beaming smile. Hey.
You got them to smile. Brings us back to point one.
So that's what I do, especially at work. I go in and, hey, you're really knowledgeable at this.
Yeah.
Can I pick your brain for a second?
So if you're looking for something like a piece of advice, pay them a compliment first, is what you're saying.
I mean, that really applies to just about anything. So if you're looking for anything, you got to put that value out first, or maybe a reason for them to do whatever you're asking.
What are some other ways that you can give value? Because I know the Woodage Company has a pretty cool thing that they do as far as like their money back guarantee.
Yeah, I don't even say that.
You don't?
There's no money back guarantee. I never offered that ever.
Maybe it's a Bill Woodage thing.
I think it is.
Okay.
I don't have that.
It's on the website.
Well, my guarantee is that it's going to be great.
Chris Zender confirmed. Yep, he backs that.
But no, you want to just explain why it is that you're doing whatever you're doing. So if you want somebody to take time for an interview, then you have to explain, here's why I could help you. Here's why I think this is a good fit. And nobody wants to be pitched like you pitched 1,000 people the exact same way.
I'm a good multitasker. Like things like that.
Well,
yeah.
And make sure that it's catered to whatever it is that they do or whatever the situation is. Don't prospecting, like if you're going to send out a blast of emails, I get blasted emails all the time. I don't ever look at them unless it's directed to me and I can see that it is, or if they've come up with a really good template that looks like it's addressed to me, which is kind of what I do for my mailers. It looks like I'm personally writing them a letter.
Okay. You're going to have to show me how to do that.
But
you are good at what you do.
I don't know. I just do a lot of it.
Activity rules success.
I just do a lot.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, these have been Chris Zender's tips for Monday. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, I think it was good. Bill told me to stay outside of the sales realm so much because that's the box I'm in. So I'm trying to appeal to everybody.
And I keep trying to draw you back in. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Because I'm curious, that's how you make money, is being a good salesperson. Everyone's in sales, whether you realize it or not. You're in sales.
Yeah.
So smile and pick up the phone. What did you say? Pick up the damn phone.
I said it. I can't say those words on TV or whatever the heck this is.
We're on YouTube. It's okay.
I said pick up the GD phone.
Yeah.
But I was just making a joke.
Well, it's Millennials and Monday.
I'm Chris.
Yeah, and I'm... Wait, no. Millennials and Money.
Millennials and it's
I got
Monday.
the name of the show wrong. But it is Monday.
That it's Monday, maybe.
Well, we will see you next week, and we're going to talk about not sales, apparently.
No, we'll talk about a little bit of everything.
Sounds good.
That'll be helpful.
Have a great week.